Soup.
Okay, today we're going to be making some mungo soup, and here are the list of ingredients. I'm just going to scroll it right through here. Okay, I'm cooking with my dad today. So the first one is pork. It's boiled in water for about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
We have these mung beans, and we can get those mung beans, and we can get these from what, Oceans? Is that correct?
Yeah, Ocean.
We have a couple of tomatoes.
Small
Okay,
tomatoes.
small tomatoes. We have some onions, some
Garlic.
garlic, some salt, and
And
finally some beautiful greens called spinach. So what we're doing right now is we're going to be cooking the mung beans into the pot there, like so. And then the next step is we have to wash it, the mung beans, with water.
Yeah.
We have to wash and rinse it.
Okay, like this one. Okay, one. One.
And then drain it out. How many times do we do this?
Maybe 3 times.
3 times? Okay.
Because we want to make sure that it's clean.
Okay, now after washing it out and draining it out, we're gonna boil it, and it's gonna be set to high. And when it's boiling,
It starts boiling.
when it starts boiling, we just now while the mung beans are boiling, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start preparing the tomatoes, the garlic, and the onions. None of that. So I just found out that now when it's boiling, we have to keep an eye on it because the water will get dry, and when it does get dry, we just have to refill it again. So we're going to be preparing this right now, and apparently too that instead of pork we can also use shrimp. So here we are, we're going to be cutting here. We're going to start with the garlic and most likely the tomatoes and then the onions.
Yeah.
So we're preparing the garlic right now, and we're just separating it out into cloves.
Yeah.
There we go.
One bulb garlic.
So one bulb of garlic. So cut
And,
that, good.
and what cut both ends, huh? Yeah. Cut both ends.
And so we cut both ends of the garlic for all of them, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So the next thing we're going to be cutting is the onions. So we cut one end, and
Another
then
end.
we cut the other end, and at this point we slice it in half,
Yeah.
and
Then
that makes it easier to
remove this.
take off the skin,
Yeah, take off this. Remove the
like
skin.
so.
This one is easier to prepare. This is easier to prepare than the garlic.
And we're going to do the same thing to the other side as well. Okay, the next step is we're probably going to cut it. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
cut, yeah,
Okay, so we're
yeah,
just
yeah.
going to cut it from the side
Cut,
there,
cut,
like that.
cut, cut, cut.
There we
Then,
go. And then we
look,
cut it
there.
the other way,
Yeah.
so we're getting sort of like a diced
No,
onion.
this one is slowly, huh?
Yeah,
No,
slowly.
you could cut your finger.
Yeah.
You have to do it slowly,
And we throw it in
carefully.
there. Good. Organize it.
That's half, you see? And then other half.
Same thing as well.
The other. And,
And that one we have to be careful. There we
okay,
go.
and this one slowly.
And same thing, we dice it.
Slowly. Oh, that's good enough. Yeah.
So the next
Two.
one is the tomatoes,
Yeah,
and
two
we're going to two small tomatoes,
or one a big one.
or even one big one, and
Yeah.
we're just going to just
Yes, you
cut
can.
it.
Yeah, cut it.
So
Slice
because
it. If you want, you can also use the cutting board.
yeah, use a cutting board. We just
Yeah.
there we go. There we go. So again, for this one here, we just want to dice it into smaller pieces. And we're going to do that for both tomatoes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And here we are, we're doing the second tomato, and we're going to slice it the same way, sort of like in squares, diced up.
You are cooking that, we'll start cooking this thing.
Okay, so we're back to the mung beans here, and it's boiling. Okay, and it's going to boil for about 30 minutes or until soft. So the next step is after we've cut it, we're going to take a smaller pan and we're going to cook this. So in this case here, we had some extra water left over from the pork.
We will add that later.
We're going to add that
Yeah,
later
yeah.
on.
Okay.
Okay, we're just going to put that aside.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're going to use this to do what? Nothing, just leave it as is. Okay.
Yeah.
So here we are, we're just going to be using this pot here to fry the onions, garlic, and tomatoes. We're going to be putting some oil.
Yeah.
to fry it in.
Yeah.
And are we going to be putting some salt as well, or is that
No, later.
that'll be later? Okay, so we're just going to use it to fry. Okay.
Okay, we have the oil.
Okay, so we have the oil,
Then, okay.
and then we put in the garlic.
First, yeah.
Garlic first. We're going to fry that in. Okay.
Fry.
Good. And wait for it to.
And then when the garlic gets a little bit brownish, when it's almost brown, yeah.
We put in the rest. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can put if you want, I think you can put onion and this at the same time, or onion first and then the tomato.
Okay. So we have here, we're frying up the garlic and it's turning a bit brown, almost golden. And the next step is we're going to be putting in the onions. Okay, so we throw in the onions and we fry that as well. And we wait until it's pretty much brown as well. Is that correct?
No, not really.
Not
Just
really?
just a little bit cooked. It will turn brown.
Okay. Now, do we need to put in more oil, or is that
No,
good?
that's enough. That's enough.
Okay, that's
Yeah, we
good.
don't want to put too much oil.
Here we go. So hold on. Now we're going to put the tomatoes. Okay. Now this is after about a minute after cooking the onions. We put in the tomatoes.
Then the meat.
And then we put in the meat. Okay. There we go. That's great. Oh. Okay. I'm just going to take a picture. Okay. So after mixing it up with the pork here, we've added the garlic first, onions, and the tomatoes, and then the pork. We mix it up, and now we're going to be adding the salt. Now how much salt? About half a teaspoon? A teaspoon? Okay, here we go. Okay.
That's enough. Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay, sounds good. And then we mix it up again. There we go. Now, when this is done, what we're doing right now, this goes into the pot here with the mung beans right there. And we're just going to lower that because notice it went up a bit. So here we are. The mung beans appear to be cooked pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely cooked. Now the next stage is we're going to be taking what we made earlier over there with the garlic, onions, tomatoes, and pork and salt, and we're going to be putting it in there.
Turn off.
Turn it off, okay. And then we pour it right in, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go, pouring it right in, the whole thing in there. And then what happens after this? We mix it, is that correct? We just stir it in?
Yes, yeah.
And there we go. Now remember earlier we also had the spinach, and we'll most likely be adding that very soon.
When you boil the pork.
Okay, so here we are, we're stirring it now. Remember the broth that we had earlier? We're going to be pouring it back in to the mix here, and we're going to stir it in.
Then the next thing
is the spinach.
This is the last one.
It's the last part right here. We're just going to take that.
Looks a lot, but
And
once it's cooked,
yeah. So this is the last step, is adding the spinach. While it may look like there's a lot, what's going to happen is once it starts boiling and mixing in and essentially going into the mix, it'll get a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And it'll work in quite well.
This will go down.
It'll go right down. And we're going to stir it right in, right?
Increase the temperature and we'll put it to 6. More than medium, between medium and high. Before it was at low, but now, and also I think still have to add a little bit more because with the spinach and the mango, yeah, we have to put a little bit more salt. Just a little bit more.
Okay.
You can show you. Konti lang ha. Kilo.
Ito. That's good.
Oh, tama na. That's enough.
That's good. Okay.
That's enough.
Let me take a picture of this, okay, Dad?
Or mix them.
Okay, so we're going to mix, stir it in, okay?
Mix it like this.
So now it's starting to look like what we had before. This looks really good. So we're pretty much done here, and we just wait for it to boil for a few more minutes until the spinach is very soft.
4 minutes and we'll be 12:15.
Yeah.
15 minutes every minute.
About 15 more minutes or so.
But you have to cook the pork first.